And welcome to New Londinium 1910, which is my Let's Build series set in heavily modded steampunk Minecraft. So this is our manor house that we've been working on off and on for a while now, and it's our headquarters and hub for all activity while we work on the main city, which is New Londinium itself. But, you know, we've been doing all sorts of stuff out in the garden. We build a road out to the construction site and this, that, and the other. But as you can see... So we had a villager in here and now he's gone. I mean, it's not like you can watch him wander away or watch him wander in. It's just like sometimes he's here, sometimes he's not. Anyway, I don't like this kitchen. There's stuff I want to do. Maybe add cabinets to the top. Anyway, this kind of touches on what I want to do today, which is we built the manor house. It's 98% done on the outside, and it's about 10% done on the inside. So I want to spend some time working on the inside, setting this up, furnishing it, that type of jazz. Now, I've only partially thought this through, so we'll be doing some thinking along the way. I don't realize I was still carrying this around, so we'll put these downstairs. And I don't have a calendar in this world. I don't know what day it is. We'll have to fix that at some point. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff. So I guess the herbalist bench wasn't from up here. I guess it was from downstairs, not just downstairs. Anyway, there was a yeah, here it is. There we go. And then we can plop down our stone cutter and our architect's table from Dum Num Ornamentum. And we can get going. I mean, I got a diamond I can throw in there, and these eggs and seeds we can put away. I don't think we've put any eggs away before, so we're gonna have to designate a space for them. Consider eggs a meat. I do, so I'll put it over here with my meat stuff. Put these in there. Amaranth flowers, amaranth pinnacle. This is what we use to make red velvet in the game. I think that's from the Abyssal Decor mod, which is an excellent mod for steampunk and Lovecraftian horror type stuff, because it's the same general time period, so it works really well. We're gonna need a mess of wood to work on the interiors. Anyway, there's just a whole lot to do inside the house that needs to be done. I'd like to move the enchantment table to a permanent, like, you know, wizard study type of room type thing. Like to make proper bedrooms, rearrange the kitchen, add a bunch of cabinets, etc., etc., right? Build living rooms, this, that, and the other. Now, that being said, I'm somewhat spoiled by the choice of furniture, because I mean, I got a bunch of furniture mods in here, and they give me a lot of different furniture options. Some are more varied or expensive than others, but that's all fine and dandy. But you know, Hytale came out, so today's the 3rd, right? So 3 weeks ago, was it? I think it's exactly 3 weeks, close to 3 weeks ago. Anyway, and you know, the vanilla game is out there. There's already tons of mods, and even with the vanilla game, I'm more disappointed in Minecraft than ever about the state of furniture in the game. So I could have swore that I had a bunch of these rafters to fill in, but apparently not on that level. So maybe on this level? And no. But the space between rafters is still pretty empty. So what I think I want to do, I need a carpentry bench. That is up one level. So, well, I'm going to need a bunch of planks. So let me just make a few planks and let's try and experiment. So we'll make 4 planks and we will chip them. This Versailles one over here, this is pretty good. Dark oak planks. A little fancy, right? So let's go back down to the architect's table and let's see if I can do stuff with these chipped blocks, and if I can, then we're golden, right? So yep, we can do stuff with them, so it'll take them. So let's go make a bunch of them and then we'll go. So hold on, I gotta make this thing into planks. There we go, just make them all into planks. And then, they used to have a craft all button, right? So, right now it's you craft the stack that's selected, but they used to have a, craft all. And so all the blocks of that type that were in your inventory would get crafted. Interesting. Anyway, we'll make these in the slabs, and then what we'll do is in between the space, the rafters, there's a 3x3 area that we will mostly fill with these slabs. We'll leave the central square open. That way we can hang lanterns or whatever we need to do. But later I might go in and throw panels in there because right now leaving it open is going to leave the bare plank showing, right? So there we go, like that. Anyway, so furniture, right? Out of the box, out of the gate, Hytale's got furniture you can actually interact with, like sit on and stuff, and that is something that I want. And I have it now because I have a bunch of mods in Minecraft, but it's something I think that should be part of the base game, and after 17 years you think they would have been able to add it at some point. And it kind of segues into the next thing, which is Hytale coming out, and the success it's had so far has definitely got to be sparking some conversations in Mojang and Microsoft, right? They can't ignore it, right? They can't just say, we're going to keep playing business as usual. Good luck with the Hytale guys. It doesn't have anything to do with us, because I think it has everything to do with you, right? Because while your customers and players aren't exactly the same group, I think there's a huge amount of overlap, right? So 60 or 70% of the player base of one would be interested in the other, and that's ultimately going to be the problem. And not just for Mojang and Microsoft, right? Because Hytale basically didn't follow the rule book at all, and I think is reaping huge rewards as a result of that. And what does that mean? First of all, Hytale, a lot of game companies, if you put it in the wrong spot, it will place vertically, but it'll be invisible and you can't get it back. It'll just be destroyed, like you saw. Anyway, in Hytale's case, they've like with modding, right. I mean, not surprisingly, because the company was started by old school modders, right? They built modding in from the get-go, and not just modding, but modding support, the modding model. They thought about it, and as a result, even before the game was available to the public, you could have mods available. Now, all of that's important because, as a general rule, some game companies have come to kind of sort of embrace mods. Small indies usually embrace them pretty well, but for the big AAA companies, I'm generalizing big time here, but most of them would just as soon not deal with mods, right? I mean, like some of them, like EA, that's a huge amount of their income comes from DLC. So if you have people writing free mods, that kind of throws some water onto your DLC potential market. So they don't like that stuff. And of course, if anybody who's tried to control a mod market, like if a marketplace or something, it kind of sort of works, but never as well as people, as companies expect it should, because almost any place there's a modding community, there is a large base of free mods. And, people, I mean, I'm not saying people won't pay, I'm just saying people will pay if it's good enough and there's no other alternative, right? But if there's good free stuff, they're not going to pay for DLC. I mean, that's what it comes down to. But it's more than that, right? Because not only did they come out of the gate with mods, they came out of the gate totally transparent about, well, this is what to expect. And it wasn't just like they made an announcement and they wandered off for 2 months and then we're just getting stuff thrown over the wall. It's the company, not just the CEO. I mean, Simon is out there talking to people on X all the time. He's like the lead singer of a major rock band, and people are hanging on his every word, right? But it's not just him. I mean, all sorts of members of the Hytale team are out on social media actively talking about Hytale, and it's getting the community excited. I mean, really excited. And they're not just talking. It's not a one-way conversation. They're listening to what people are saying. They're combing the chat boards. They're combing the channels on YouTube and Twitch, and they're listening to what people are saying of all types. And if you have a good idea, they'll reach out and say, hey, this is a great idea. If you have a really great idea and you're really good at what you're doing, you may find that they not only reach out to you about your idea, they reach out with a job offer, right? And it is the democratization of gaming industry in a way, well, obviously we've never seen before, but I don't think anybody could even imagine that it could work this way, right? And as a result, I'm sure there's people who want refunds. I'm sure there's people who don't like the game. I'm sure there's people who don't like how Hytale, the company, does things. But I would probably wager that the vast majority of the paying public loves these guys, loves how they do their work, loves pretty much everything. I mean, you can still see it. And their customer satisfaction numbers have got to be through the roof. I mean, it's the type of community goodwill that most companies, they don't even bother dreaming about that, right? I mean, they can't even dream about it, right? Some companies try really hard, like EA. There's not a lot of people who sing EA's praises. Most people kind of just grudgingly acknowledge, yeah, they're okay. I mean, and there's plenty of people who hate EA. And so EA's got to be looking at the Hytale hype, and especially the corporate relations with the community, and going, oh, how could we even get a piece of that, right? A fraction of that. Well, for one thing, they'd have to completely change their business model, but that's not the point. The point is, with all this change that's going on, that Hytale's doing. I mean, a lot of the stuff that Hytale's doing, game companies never done, because they said, well, it's impossible. You can't do that. And yet, here's a company that's doing it, right? The point of all that, and it goes beyond Hytale and Microsoft, Minecraft, is it's setting a new bar for the game playing public, right? For you and me. I mean, traditionally, I need to put rafters here too. Never did. For you and me, you know, the game companies are built upon us forking over money. Pure and simple. That's what it is, right? They, you know, if they have something that we want to play, we will fork over cash, and they get the cash. That's how it works. And in some cases, we'd fork over the cash because we really didn't have a choice, right? I mean, if you wanted to play Minecraft, the only Minecraft option you had was Minecraft itself, right? And if you want to play like a good combat simulator, right, it's Call of Duty or Battlefield for the most part. I mean, there's always some other options, but you know, in the case of multiplayer especially, it doesn't do you any good if your friends don't play the same game. So just like with social media, right? You might have a fantastic new social media platform come out, but it will fail unless they can get like a massive amount of people in there, because the whole thing works on the social wheels, and if you don't have people in there, there's not a whole lot of social anything going on. So the same thing with the games, right? The you know, people go to where their friends are, right, for multiplayer games, but now that might not be enough, right? Because, you know, Simon and crew have shown that game companies can listen to their customers. Game companies can be transparent about their customers. And, you know, the problem with all this is Hytale's doing all this, and, you know, Hytale's a privately held company. They can do pretty much whatever they want, right? Now, these other companies, especially AAA companies, they're going to be held to these standards, but it's not really a fair comparison because those companies are publicly traded companies, right? So they can't just do whatever they want. They've got shareholders that they have to answer to, and if the shareholders aren't happy, they start pulling their support, or they have the board of directors start firing, you know, company executives, and things change. And so this is what I'm getting at is, I think the game industry is in or about to enter a period of substantial change. Because, you know, back during the pandemic, you know, everybody was stuck at home, and suddenly people were playing computer games almost like they never played them before. And, you know, the guys with lots of money, they were like throwing wads of cash at anybody who even mentioned they might possibly think about opening a game company and developing a game, right? And so there was lots of money, and then we went into this huge, I guess we could probably call it like a game bubble, really. There's just so many games coming out, and of course, the vast majority of them were from the big, the vast majority of them, of the ones that were taking up players' time, were from the big companies, and of course they were trying to figure out how to monetize the dog snot out of it, so that you weren't really a customer. You were just like a grape that hadn't been squeezed yet for the juice, and they treated us like that, right? And when it came to what am I going to do with this space? What about all the way up? When it came to that, we were treated as just, like a crop, right? It's almost like watching The Matrix, where they talk, humans are just batteries. And when, Agent Smith called them crops, right? And I think in a lot of ways, the game company, the big game companies, just kind of think of us that way, right? We're just crops waiting to be harvested. Oh, I didn't realize I had a bunch of dirt in here from when I was working on the roof. That's better. But so it's, in a lot of ways, it's going to be an unfair comparison, right? Because Hytale is a privately traded company. They don't have to do any of that crap. But the thing that they're doing, all this, being responsive to the community, actively asking people for their input and using it. I mean, being nice to people, not wringing every single penny or kopeck or whatever out of us. Treating us with respect. That's setting standards. That's setting expectations. And there's some of these big companies are going to have a really hard time meeting these changed expectations. So, so it goes beyond Hytale and Minecraft. It goes beyond our little survival sandbox open world genre. It is basically like a blueprint for corporate America, and corporate America stopped listening to its customers a long time ago. And that is interesting, because truth is, the power is in the hands of the consumer. Always has been. I mean, bottom line is this. You think you're kind of at the mercy of companies, but you're not. Because if you take your money elsewhere, to a competitor or whatever, or you just don't spend it on that industry at all, companies close, right? I mean, they need your money. So you can vote with your pocketbook. Now, if you're the only one voting, if you're the only one walking away from a product or a company, it's not going to be no big deal to them. But I think, I'm trying to figure out what should go where. And right now I'm trying to think about the enchantment table. I'd love to have it up here in the attic someplace, but I can't put it right here because it'll kind of I need to do fireplaces. This will block entry into the level, but this is big enough. I could probably fit it in here. It'll be snug, but I think I'm gonna put the enchantment infuser up here. This will be my little wizard study. Yep. So let's go get the enchantment table and stuff. I mean, if you stop and think about it, up until the 1950s, people ate food, right? Regular food, just, stuff grown on a farm. It was good, it was healthy, it was fresh. And then in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, they had totally brainwashed the consumer that, hey, what you need is quick, fast, easy, highly processed meals. So we had TV dinners, then we had microwave meals. Everything was for on the go. Everything was quick and easy. You're so busy you can't cook, and that's what people wanted, right? The advertising and stuff told them that's what you want, so that's what people wanted. Maybe I'll put it here instead. So when people started talking about organic food, certified organic, I remember companies like their official statements like, I don't remember the exact wording, but I can tell you the paraphrase is something like, well, whatever, we've got the food the consumers want, and only hippies want that all natural, no pesticide type stuff. And if you're a hippie, go back to Woodstock, right? Okay, so and then there are more and more people who said, well, I'd like that, but there's no way we can change those companies. I've written them letters and they don't care. But look around you today. Every major food manufacturer has organic or all natural versions of their mainline products, and many of them, those are their mainline products. Now, how did that happen? Well, it wasn't overnight, but it was the power of the consumer, the power of the pocketbook. They looked at their sales figures when people started buying more and more certified organic or stuff marked all natural. Sales went up with that stuff, and if your company wasn't making that stuff, you were probably losing sales. And if you were losing sales, at some point you would probably notice and start asking yourself, why are we losing sales? Looking at the market. I need a lot more planks is what I need. I'm going to need 90 planks. I got 20. So, let's see. So 20 logs would give me 80 planks. So 15 will give me 60. So I need one more. 18. That should do it. And they realized that they were losing sales. The guys who were offering these these organic and all natural options, right? The stuff that they were writing off as hippie food before. Well, it turns out that either there was a lot more hippies around than they counted on, or maybe it's not just hippies that are interested in that. That's 14. It's so weird it needs 15, right? I mean, that's such a weird number. Nobody really thought that out. So, anyway. And so people purchased accordingly. The industry changed accordingly. It's just how it works, right? Nobody was making electric vehicles until somebody did. And then suddenly they sold a lot of electric vehicles. And a combination of the government saying they needed to ramp up in the electrical vehicles and the fact that consumers were buying them, the car companies did about face, because they actually had, they had electrical vehicles over 100 years ago, and those eventually lost the gas. And then we had electrical vehicles in the 90s. I think it was the EV1 or the I think it's the EV1 is what it was. It's something like that. There's actually a documentary about it, because I think it was General Motors or Chrysler that put them out, and it was wild because you could get one, you couldn't buy it, you could only lease it. And then at some and they could, there was waiting lists, they couldn't make them fast enough, and so you're like, okay, so why aren't they making them today? Well, at some point they just quietly stopped making them, and when your lease expired, you couldn't buy it or anything. You just turned it in, and you could and if you wanted to still lease, you could go lease a gas-powered vehicle. And then all these EV1s got crunched in the cruncher. I'm burning through my dark oak pretty fast. So what I'm gonna do here is go out to this area we recently cleared for trees. That's too far over. I want these to line up. And we're going to plant a bunch of dark oak trees. 2, 3. I don't want to plant it too close to this wall. That's 3, right? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Yes. Because it might obstruct the trees. Trees in Hytale are pretty finicky about their growing rules, but anyway. So, and according to the documentary, what killed the electric car was gas industry, right? Petrochemicals. Basically, they had a tight working relationship with the automotive industry, and if the automotive industry kept making electric vehicles, then the oil companies were going to basically start screwing them over. And so everybody just got back into bed together, and electric vehicles died. And then all these years later, the government says everybody's making electrical vehicles now, whether you want to or not. Of course, that was then. I don't know what my government says about electrical vehicles now, so it's going to be interesting. Anyway, going back to Hytale, really, that's what it's all about, right? It's not, when we talk about the game, it's not about the graphics. It's not about the specific play mechanics. It's more about how they executed, how they planned, how they built, what they built as, a platform as opposed to a game, right? It's a platform more than anything else. I mean, in fact, they have games that have been built in Hytale. I mean, that's what the Hytale crew does normally, but I mean, other people were doing it. And we're talking, like I said, 3 weeks, and somebody's built complete games that they're going to go live with, big server games and stuff, in Hytale. And this is all stuff that people said, you can't make money on that. You can't, that won't succeed. That won't work. That's just crazy talk. You have to do it the way we've always been doing it. Well, we are in the middle of a new paradigm shift, because everything they said wouldn't work, everything they said wasn't possible, it's apparently working, and therefore apparently it is possible. I think I need white dye before I do this. My composter's upstairs. I don't know how much bone meal I have available, though. We've been using it a lot to make... Whoa, don't have much at all. I'm going to need more bone meal. And for that, I'm going to need material to compost. Let's see. See what kind of numbers that gets us. Not great. Not great. I think I forgot how many intermediate steps there are. Okay, that gives me 8. But this will get me 8 times 8. Not 8 times 8. Yeah, 8 times 8. Okay. I'm going to need a lot more of this stuff. We got oodles. Okay. We'll let that percolate for a little bit. And then just, if we're going to walk away for a bit, we can stack it a little more and let it work. Yeah, it is slow. This is why you got to use hoppers for this. No. We'll just go with this. So, when we're talking about how to arrange stuff upstairs, you know, I didn't realize I had so many of these already up here. A building this size, really, you would like set up like a hallway with rooms coming off of it. The problem is like in Minecraft scale and how thick the walls are, because we're talking about 1 meter thick, it's kind of hard to do that even at this size. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna set these up in a star fashion, and what we'll do, I think it did this last time, is I'll pour the water down the middle. That will basically cure everything into hardened blocks, and then I will jump down. We'll remove the water and then jump down in the middle to hopefully cushion our fall. And then at the bottom we'll put cobblestone all the way up, but then I can quickly work my way back down again using my diamond pickaxe that has the excavate mod. Now, because I haven't set up a washer in this world like I did from the rubble. Yeah, gotta love the create mod. So we get I don't have the bricks, and let's oops. I didn't realize the water was already out. Okay, well, no autopsy, no foul. So then we do this up. Switch the diamond pickaxe with excavate, and down. Easy peasy. Okay. Whoa. I didn't realize... Well, I should have realized that I had more than just a stack. So let's do it again. This is only a half stack this time. And I've already got my cobblestone ready, so I should be able to pick up the water and just jump. And that should work pretty good. Dump the water. Jump. See? That worked much better. Okay, this should give me plenty of material to do interior walls. And let's go for it. So, like I said, there's actually quite a bit of room in this building, but the way the building's laid out, the building is classic 8 shape, right? There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that the way space works in these buildings, you know, traditionally, like I said, we'd set up some type of hallway system with rooms coming off, and this is not really, it doesn't really work for some reason at this scale in Minecraft. So let's go up. No, we need... Huh. Oh, hold on to that thought. So, like, I guess the hallway could run, like, past the stairs and past the 2 fireplaces, but it's not really, it's too wide to be a hallway. And if you try to narrow it, you're just going to wind up wasting space. Let's set this down here. And let's make a bunch of planks, because that's what we're going to need. And from here across, right? That makes for a pretty small bedroom. And if I go from here and across, it gets really big, and we're going to need to move this architect table. So if I move from here and across, that might be where we start. So I think it's planks first, right? Yep, and then yep, that's exactly right. So let's grab some of these. I really don't know how many we're gonna need. 16 might do it. And so, and then put a door there. Whoa. So I can put a wall in front of a window. That's not gonna work. So if I do it here, oh, now I put a wall in front of a window again. Oi, 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 oi. This isn't gonna work super clean. Okay. Let's, oh. Okay, I guess I can't grab 9 at a time. I'll just grab 1 at a time. Okay, let's take these down and think this through. I can't make a straight wall across because the windows don't line up anywhere in this sector, in this wing. So am I gonna have 2 different... I'm gonna have to have a wall that doesn't go all the way across. It has a detour along the route. Okay, so that's 1 room, right? It lines up, no problems. Now here, since we... do I want to leave all that space open? If I just connect from this wall to this wall, and we'll just make it part of this room, like, well, bathroom, closet, something like that. It's not quite. Then I have a lot of open space out here. Nothing wrong with it. Maybe I can... Let's just fill in the walls that we have now. Well, I don't love it, but I like it enough that we'll go with that, right? And then we'll take it from there. So here these are kind of tricky to place, or they look weird. Not those. These where I have an upper and a lower wall bit. You have to line them up just right, and otherwise they'll rotate on you. Oh yeah, can't jump 2 blocks. Okay. Oops. So this sets the bottom block in the 2 block set. Right now I have to do the one that has the frame pointing down, and you got to be lined up on it pretty close like this, otherwise it'll set the block on its side, which is not useful. Can I do it from a corner? Yes, I can. Okay, let's go out here. Just need something to stand on, like that. You gotta be close, but if you're too close, you're in the way. It takes some getting used to. Oops. I boxed myself in. Let's do it this way. Now if I can do it from here. Nope, laid it on its side. So we need to move this closer. There we go. Now these the top blocks, I can be at any angle when I lay them. But the doorways are tricky because I need just a single block. So this single block has got to be self-contained, right? So this one's self-contained. The frame isn't open in any given direction. I need a bunch of these too. Okay, that should be enough. So then we can use these to close the doorways, or make doorways. And then the ones with the X's we'll put at the top. Just like that. Starting to rain, but that's okay. We're warm and cozy inside our little wooden palace. So we got exactly the same situation we had on the other side, but I don't know if I want everything to be all like totally symmetrical from wing to wing. I mean, I might want to do some variations on a theme here. Going to need a lot of these, so I guess I can just produce them in bulk. Okay. So in this one we used more of the space to make two larger rooms. Now I'd like to enclose the library somehow, but it doesn't line up to the window. So if I start... And I don't want to box in the door so much. See, I mean, we can do this, and we can move the set of shelves that blocks the doorway. We move it like toward the wall with the windows. So let's do that. Let's move the books. Inventory's full. Okay. But then the wall's blocking the window. Over here it's fine. But against the wall with the windows, that's not good. So maybe we can move the wall out away from the window, right? So if we do this, I think that'll work. I think that will work. So if we do the same thing over here, and then I can fill up that. It's going to be kind of weird to have walls, then open space, then lots of bookshelves. So we can fill that little open space with more bookshelves. I mean, they're not going to contribute anything to the enchanting process, but it'll look cleaner and less goofy, I think, if we go that route. I just need books. I'm going to need 3 on the side. So I need 6 sets of shelves. That's 18 books. which is almost all my book supply. Okay, so now I need to lay down a crafting table so I can make a bookshelf, so I can place a bookshelf, so I can get this looking more normal, like that. Okay, I think I got this worked out. Now we can just add the top blocks like this. I'm too close. There we go. And then we can put the boxes with the X's on the top. Well, like this. I think we're good. Missing a block up there. Let's fix that. That means I screwed up out here, right? Yep, I did. But there you go. That actually looks pretty darn good. We still have space to walk around out there. We're going to need a light source, and I'd like to do something with the ceiling. I don't want torches sitting on the floor. You know, I think I have everything I need here. Let's, so I have the additional lights mod, which gives me the ability to make a bunch of lanterns. But I got the recipe wrong, obviously. Oh! That's even easier than I thought. Okay, so just take them out of the corners. There we go. And you get 4. Now, it used to be that you would get like 12. It was crazy. So 4 is more than enough. You know, I always thought that lanterns were too hard to get in Minecraft, right? So I don't know why I ran up to the attic. I thought I was one floor lower than I actually am. So now you can take a lantern and place it on the ceiling, and now we'll use that as a reference point from which to build the ceiling, right? So we'll take these slabs we made, and we'll go ahead and apply them in a grid pattern, right? So we'll work around the lantern, and then we'll base the grid off of that, right? So like that, and like that. Okay. And I think that works. I think that works. I'm running out of time. I don't know. Try to get this wall finished. So add some of these, and we'll do. Oh, I took way too many of those. I mean, those are blocks I use once in a blue moon. It would have been better if I had done it with one of these other types. Bottom ones. And, oh, that's just... I'll use them up eventually, I think. Maybe. That's going to be painful. Oops, on its side. There we go. Corner, good. Okay. Now we need to get up on the top of this wall again to use the blocks facing downwards. Okay, almost done with the wall. I need to get up here. And then on this side of the doorway, and now we can just put the cross blocks and top. I got plenty of these now, so let's go ahead and kind of crown our doorways. And bring her home. Bring it on home. There we go. Now some of these will be guest rooms, and other rooms I have yet to identify what I'm going to do with them, but at least we have options now. This will probably be the master suite. And I don't know what I'm going to do here. Probably something similar to what I've already done. You can just take what we got and lay it out. You need more blocks. Move this closer to where we're working. Let's take a moment to admire the handiwork. So we worked basically on the inside of the house, and it was we got a lot done, but as usual, it seems like no matter how much we actually do get done, there was so much more that needed to be done that I hoped and thought that we could finish in the time, and it rarely works out. So I like what we've done. I especially like this room, and maybe next time we'll continue. There's so many things to do. Sometimes it's kind of dictated by the mood I'm in, but Anyway, I hope you found this interesting and entertaining. And if you did, please like, subscribe, and return next time. And if you didn't like it, like and subscribe. Anyway, and leave me a comment about what you didn't like. But in the meantime, I hope this finds you and yours in good health, good spirits, and perhaps just a touch of good fortune. Cheers.